Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique, and this wreath is brought to you by Hobby Lobby. We are going to do a back to school wreath. I know, don't tell the kids, back to school is around the corner, but this is the perfect wreath for a teacher, for a classroom, or even for your front door, or for your kids to hold and take a picture of their first day of school. So let's get started, and we can get all these craft supplies, of course, at Hobby Lobby. Right, so Hobby Lobby just blew me away with their signs that we could choose for this wreath. Well, I chose the one with these really adorable, cute little interchangeable signs for the seasons that I know that my teacher that I'm making this for will love. And they have a lot of signs that you can really personalize and even write names on. So that's why I thought, you could use this for your kid to hold the first day of school. So we're going to use one of their work wreath forms. They're 16 inches around, and we're going to separate all the stems. We're going to use this yellow kind of fabric mesh, and we are not going to cut this, but we are going to put this around our wreath form. This is the base. And you're going to use, I used my hand from the tip of my finger to about my wrist is kind of where I thought was a good enough space. And really, there's no rules on this, guys. We just want to fill this wreath with this whole roll of yellow. So it's like the base of our wreath. So I went from the bottom to the top, back down to the bottom. I would skip a wreath tinsel here and there, but I kept going around this wreath until we filled it all. And I'm going to show you that process here. It's really easy. And honestly, you could do this for any wreath, Christmas. They have great mesh for fall. I can't wait to make one with it. And you can do this as just kind of a good base for your wreath. And sometimes you're going to say, this isn't working, this doesn't look right, but just trust me. Keep going with the process, and then we're going to add some more mesh here in a moment, and it's going to be beautiful and nice and full. Now here I had like a spot that I felt like needed a little bit extra, so I just took a white Chanel stem and added it to my wreath frame. It's pretty easy to do, but you're going to keep going back and forth. And I like to untie my little twist to kind of put the piece of mesh into it. So you're going to do a lot of twisting and then untwisting so that you will have plenty of length on those tinsels that we're going to wrap around. Then we're going to end it up, and this is what it looks like with one roll. Now, here's a trick that I use all the time. We're going to take this blue fabric mesh and red fabric mesh, and we are going to cut this with a wood burner that you can get at Hobby Lobby. Now here's the thing, you need to use it on a tempered piece of glass, and Hobby Lobby has that, and I will leave you a link to the one that they currently have in stock. I used to be able to get this one. This is where I bought this from Hobby Lobby years ago, but they have a little different one right now, and I'll share that link. Now we're going to cut both rolls of mesh at 14 inches each. So cut all your mesh so we can put this all together. Never seen me use a wood burner tool before. What does this do for the mesh? Well, it helps reduce the fraying. So anytime you cut mesh, you're going to have a little bit of fraying. So I like to use the wood burner, and it's just a lot easier and gives you a little bit more polished look. So we're going to take curl side up, and we're going to curl each end, and we're just going to gather it towards the middle. So I'm going to take a blue one, and then we're going to top it off with a red one. Now here's the deal with any fabric mesh or deco mesh. It loves to stick together. So that's just part of the process here. We're going to put it on top of each other, and then we're going to go back over here, and we're going to put these throughout our wreath, and we're going to untie the little tinsels that were on our wreath frame and then tie them back. Now this is the last time you're going to do it. Once you get this mesh on, we're good to go. So we're going to do this for the whole wreath. Now, you may have, let's see, a few tinsels that you might not have enough of these for cutting at 14 inches long each, but that doesn't matter. It's going to look beautiful. I like to try to keep it more towards the outer side of the wreath because remember, our picture, our sign is going to go in the middle, and it's going to fill a lot of that stuff up for us. Okay, so it's time to get our sign all prepped. I just cut off the top piece of ribbon, And then I'm taking two really big zip ties, and I got to figure out how do you put these on. I always connect my zip ties in order to make them longer. I don't buy much bigger zip ties. And then I'm going to take my staple gun and I'm going to staple it on to the picture frame here. And what's nice is that Hobby Lobby made this sign really thick, so I don't have to worry about any staples coming through. So we're going to do one at the top and one at the bottom, and then we're going to put the sign on our wreath. It's pretty simple. You're just going to need to be a little patient with this because we don't want to bury it inside of our wreath, but we want it to sit on top and we want it to be secure. So you're just going to take these zip ties, run them through the wreath frame, and then you're going to go back and forth and just make sure it's pretty even because we don't want it to be lopsided and we want them to be nice and symmetrical. Once you get it to the point that you want it, then you're just going to clip off those extra zip ties that we have and it will be on your wreath securely. Now here's the thing. I went back to the wood section and I got this cute little apple that Hobby Lobby had on hand. My handwriting is terrible, but I tried. You could even erase it. I got one of these Posca markers, or I'm not sure if I said that right, but you can get these at Hobby Lobby too. And I'm just going to trace my writing of my teacher's name on this. Now, I did do 2 coats of this with my marker once it dried. Now let's get ready to make a beautiful bow. It starts with the tail. You're going to measure 6 inches. See, there's 6 inches to the right. And then you're going to measure 9 inches. And you're going to hold it in the center and make 4 loops at 9 inches each, okay? Then you're going to take another tail and you're going to cut it at 6 inches, all right? And then I'm going to just take my zip tie here and I'm going to secure it in the middle, all right? So let's, Julie, cut your zip tie. But I think you get the point here. We're going to kind of layer all these different ribbons because honestly, there was a lot of fun ribbon to choose from at Hobby Lobby, and I really couldn't make up my mind, and I like lots of colors. One of the things that I noticed when making this wreath is that these would be great for like an autism awareness wreath as well because of the colors. With this, we're doing the exact same thing we did for the bow on the red. 6-inch tail, 9 inches, bring it together in the middle, and do that 4 times to have 4 loops. Take your zip tie, attach it in the middle, and then cut your other 6-inch tail. And then I always like to just go ahead and add my little dovetail. You just fold your ribbon in and you have that little V mark. Now we're going to do this blue and white stripe, and we're going to go at 8 inches. Okay, so the first ones were at 9 inches. This one is at 8 inches. So we did again 4 loops, 8 inches each. You bring them together, cut your tail, and put your zip tie in the middle. Then we're going to do the exact same thing with our yellow polka dot ribbon. I think they call it like a Swiss dot ribbon or something, but it's going to come together beautifully. I love the way that this all comes together at the end. Now, we'll make sure you do your little dovetail on your little ends, all right? And then I'm going to take my yellow and we're going to do the exact same thing we just did for the blue and white. Now, making a bow doesn't have to be hard. It's all about the loops and how to make sure that they're the same and coming back to the middle. And then you can layer everything and have a beautiful bow. So don't be intimidated. It's easy to do, okay? Now, here's the thing. The ribbon that I'm using to kind of set all this off was in the teacher's bulletin board building area at Hobby Lobby, and it doesn't have any wire in it. So since it doesn't have any wire in it, I wanted to kind of incorporate it into this bow. So we cut about 8 inches to 9 inches lengths, and then we again added a little dovetail. You just fold it over and just cut your ribbon at an angle. All right, so once you do that, we're going to start layering all these different bows we made onto each other. So we're going to start off with the red, and then just check your loops a little bit, and then add a piece of that really cute school ribbon. And I ended up just doing one piece in between each bow, but I think it turned out really good. I take a Chanel stem here and I go over it and twist it in the back. Okay, so at this point, you're just going to keep building with the bows that you already made to make one nice full bow. As you can see, I used the previous pipe cleaner and I just wrapped it around from the back to the front, back to the back. And then we're just going to keep building with our other bows that we made. It was really fun. You can be really creative with this. If you didn't want to use all these bows, you could limit it to as many as you want. I probably wouldn't do more than 4 or 5, but I think it really comes together at the end because of this schoolhouse ribbon. I used another Chanel stem to keep making sure that we could support it all, because you are going to run out of Chanel stems, the length. And then we're just going to add our yellow kind of Swiss dot here and bring the previous stem back to the front. Again, we'll twist it and bring it back to the back. I hope that makes sense. But listen, this doesn't have to be hard making a bow, and you've got lots of beautiful choices at Hobby Lobby. That's one of the things that I always check out to see if there's any new ribbon, because ribbon is kind of a problem for me. And then we're going to just fluff it all out and make it pretty. And I think I probably now here's the thing, I always have to trim some tail here and there, like that red one in the back there. I'm going to have to trim that one. I know it. So it's okay. But I think that this turned out super, super cute. And then, of course, I had to trim it a little bit, but this is so cute. And I just trim the back of the previous pipe cleaners that attached everything, and we're going to clip this with our wire cutters. And then I took another pipe cleaner and ran it through the center so that now we can put this on our wreath and finish up our wreath. This is all the icing. You know how you put icing on a cake? Well, the ribbon and all the little things that we're about to do here is the icing, and this is going to be so cute. And I know my friend who I made a wreath last year from Hobby Lobby, she's going to love this, so I can't wait to give this wreath to her. So you can put your bow anywhere on this wreath. If you want a bow, that's great. If you don't want a bow, that's okay too. But I wanted a bow, and I put it around the 2:30 mark to 3 o'clock. Then we're going to take 9-inch tails of the ribbon that I cut, and I always like to, again, dovetail them. If you watch Julie, she's going to dovetail her ribbon. I just stack my ribbon and I fold it over, and then I cut it once, and it just makes light work. Do this to all of the ribbon. We made 5 ribbon bundles here, okay? You don't have to use all 5. You could use 4 or 3. It's really up to you, but have fun with it. It's always so much fun. So let's make this little ribbon bundle by taking our ribbon, and you can really kind of stack them any way that you want. And we're just going to stack ours kind of at an angle, each different one. And then we're going to end it off with our schoolhouse ribbon here right in the middle. And I think she's so cute, and she brings everything together. We're going to gather it in the middle, take a pipe cleaner, and go over the top of the ribbon, okay? Because this is like a pick that we're making ourselves. You're going to twist it really good, and then we're going to put this on our wreath. It's pretty simple. You're going to put them wherever you want that you feel like looks the best. Go through the mesh, and sometimes you can get the pipe cleaner to go through the actual mesh too, but you're going to attach it to the wire wreath form. That's important to note here, okay? So have as much or as little of this trim that you want. I think it adds a lot of creativity to your wreath. And what's wonderful is you can get all this at Hobby Lobby. So I love to go shopping at Hobby Lobby. And I know that when I go into Hobby Lobby, it's not going to be a 15-minute shopping trip, because I've got to check out and see what they've got, right? Am I right? Am I not alone on this one? So I just loved it. Now, I went to the back of the store and I found these little yellow painted wood stars. Guys, I didn't even have to paint these, so this was a win-win. And so I took another pipe cleaner. We're going to attach it with some hot glue, and then I always have, one of the things I always tell you need to pick up at Hobby Lobby is some felt, and have it on hand. This is the scrap felt I always have on hand. And we are just going to lay that scrap felt over top of our pipe cleaner to make sure that it all stays put. We did the same thing to our apple, and now it's time to put the finishing touches on our wreath. It's so, so cute. I really wanted to kind of add a little bit of a special kind of like personalized touch by adding my friend's name to her wreath. And I just think that this is super duper cute. So you just put it through the wreath frame. And guys, if you watch the whole video, leave me a star in the comments. It really does help me out. And it's great to know that you guys watched the whole thing. So I hope that you love this wreath. And this wreath was so much fun to make. And again, remember, even if you didn't want to make a back to school wreath, you could make a fall wreath, a Christmas wreath, a birthday wreath, any type of wreath. Here's a great method. You can get all the supplies at your local Hobby Lobby. And once again, thank you, Hobby Lobby, for sponsoring another video here on Julie's Wreath Boutique. Now, I'm going to leave you the Hobby Lobby playlist down below here. You can click on it, watch all the Hobby Lobby projects that we have done, and you can still make these projects. But I want to make sure you know every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be here. So I want you to be back here next week. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.